Okay, so what we're going to go through in this video is how to find your perfect customers, how to identify who they are, and then how to figure out how to sort of, I guess, find those customers in the marketplace. So going back to the first video that I had created this morning about psychology and math, this is really about the psychology side of things. Okay, trying to understand firstly who it is that you're trying to sell your product to, and how they think, act, and feel, sort of thing. And the best way that we've ever found to do this, and I think every marketer out there will agree, is to create a customer avatar, or call it a buyer persona, or a slam dunk client, whatever you want to call it. But essentially what it is, it's I guess, a fictitious character that you've made up based on the customers that you know and you like, and what you know about them, and what you think you know about your perfect customer as well. Because when it comes to marketing, clarity is king, and knowing who you're talking to at any given time, how they talk, what resonates with that particular person, is the key to cutting through the clutter and making your marketing work, in particular on the copywriting front. Sorry. And so, the fastest and easiest way to do this is by creating an avatar. And I think that once you do go through this process, initially you might find it a little bit like a ho-hum, but once you do start to really dial in on your avatar, marketing gets exciting, because it stops the confusion around, what you should be saying and where you should be saying it. It helps you to really dial in on your message. It helps you put together your offers, your price point, everything from your color scheme, because you know who you're trying to appeal to. Because most businesses out there don't need to sell to everybody. Most businesses are capped at a certain amount of sales per month, per week. And when you sit down and really go, well, I only need 100 sales a month, or I only need 20 sales a week, whatever it may be, then why not try and get 20 of the best customers possible? Because let's be honest, if you only need 20 customers, let's try and get customers that you like to work with, that pay you on time, pay you well, don't ask questions, and they refer you to other people and say nice things about you. Because on the other end of that scale, the pain in the ass customers, the ones who screw you down on price, or are a pain to deal with. Doesn't matter how much you bend your back to try and deliver the product for them, they've always got something negative to say, and then they run around and bag you regardless of the job that you've done. And we all have experience with both of these types of customers. And here's the thing, it costs you just as much time, effort, energy, and most importantly money, to acquire one of those good customers, your perfect customer, as it does a shitty customer. So if you're going to put time and energy into your marketing, why not go out there and try and find more of the best customers? And so the big sort of kickback that I get on this from clients when I first break this to them is, but if I target this one type of person, won't I miss all these other people, and I'm just closing myself off to business? And here's the thing, I'll just draw something quickly on the board to show you. Yes, you will close yourself off, but you'll be closing yourself off to the business you don't want. And here's the thing, think of it like a dartboard. Okay, so think of it like this kind of a bullseye, I should say. So in the middle there, you've got your 10. So they're your perfect customers. They're the ones we really want more of. Then you've got your 9s, your 8s, and think of this going all the way out to number 1, and number 1's being the worst customers. So if we're targeting number 10s, we might miss the market a little bit. We might get a few 9s, a few 8s, and maybe a few 7s, but they're still going to be quite good customers. And what we're doing is we're trying to get more of those people in the center of that bullseye. They're good customers, and less of those shitty customers out there. We want the shitty customers to go to a competition. Let them get bogged down and sort of lose money on poor customers, because getting the right customer can often make or break most businesses out there. So how we do this is we go through and we create a customer avatar. Now, you can have more than one avatar, but what I do sort of stress is that I do believe that no customers are equal. So again, the difference between a 10 and a 9, it might simply be talking to the male avatar as opposed to the female avatar, or vice versa. Or it might be the difference between talking to a 35-year-old as opposed to a 30-year-old. So it can be quite fine art, but the idea is you still want to make sure that you categorize your avatars. And the reason being is that whenever you sit down to create any sort of marketing, you really want to have a clear idea of who am I trying to write this for? Who am I trying to appeal to? Who am I trying to attack? Who am I trying to attract? Sorry, I lost my word there. With this, so I'm just going to open my screen up here and go through a list of things that which you can't see, obviously, but you can take a pad and pen out and you can write these down. And here's the thing, I've seen avatars that are a mile long. I've seen people go, and I've done these myself, gone to the nth degree with this, and I've seen really simple formats as well. And there are people out there who just advocate, when you go to write something, think about your favorite customers, and all of this can work. This is where we found is the middle ground for us. And that is just by understanding a few key things about your customer. So the first things you need to go through are kind of the basics. So what's their sex? Are they male or female? Because we all know that males and females talk, think, and act differently. How old are they? And don't put between 40 and 50. Put a specific age, because a 40-year-old and a 55-year-old, they're in completely different stages of their life. They talk, act, and think differently again. So there's going to be a lot of that through this. It's just really trying to dial in. Again, it's not to say that if you create an avatar that's 55, you're not going to, of course, you're still probably going to appeal to 50-year-olds and 45-year-olds, but it's about just getting really sort of granular with what you're saying and who you're targeting. What's their job and what's their role within that job? Are they a CEO? Are they a manager? Are they self-employed? Are they a worker? And what sort of role? Are they a lawyer? Are they a doctor? Or are they a carpenter? Understanding these things, can really help you understand how these people think and act, and the way that they sort of take in information. Because when it comes to copywriting particularly, it's your job as a marketer not to talk how you talk, but to talk how your market talks, to use language and dialogue that they resonate with, because at the end of the day, they're the ones who need to choose you, not the other way around. What's their annual income? Again, we want to make sure that we're playing in the right pond here, or fishing in the right pond, and that they can afford your product or service. Do they have kids? If yes, how many kids and what age? Because again, people with newborns as opposed to elderly children are going through completely different challenges in their life. Their education level, did they go to university? Did they drop out of school? Are they self-educated? Again, these just give us little clues into how we might talk to this avatar. Then we want to go through and just the next section, just break down sort of their lifestyle elements and sort of the things that they might be interested in. So the first one is lifestyle. What I like to do here is just try and think of the average day in the life of your avatar and just map it out from the moment that they wake up, he or she wakes up. What's the first thing they do, second thing they do, third thing, all the way down to when they go to bed. So you can start to, walk a mile in their shoes. Then you look at their health and fitness. Are they into anything in the health and fitness space? Like, do they go to the gym? Do they have particular sort of beliefs around diet and nutrition? Anything of that nature. And then sports and hobbies is the next one. So I say sport and hobby, like do they follow sporting teams, or do they have any sort of extra sort of curricular activities they like to do, whether it be sort of it can be as simple as catching up with friends for a glass of wine or going out to dinner, these things. Then the next two are really important, which I really like, is who are their heroes and who are their villains. The fastest way to build rapport with somebody is to be a friend of their friend, or to be an enemy of their enemy. And also by understanding who they look up to and who they look down upon will help you to understand what they stand for as a person. So who are the people? It can be celebrities, it can be family members, it can be people in their life, or it can be characteristics of certain people. So it can be, a hero could be somebody who values being on time, so to speak. This is really important, because if you think about the recent US election, if you're a Donald Trump fan versus a Hillary Clinton fan, then you were a completely different person. So by understanding what someone might like or dislike about another person helps you to really understand how to craft a message that they will instantly resonate with. So that's a really powerful one. The next section is kind of where they hang out, where we can go and find information about them that we can leverage. Because if we know that they like certain brands or read certain publications, hang out on certain websites, what we can do is we can go and look at that marketing and find out, what is it that is sort of congruent across all of these platforms, and what can we use in our marketing to help resonate. So first we look at publications. Are there any magazines that they read? Websites, what websites they hang out, not just social media platforms, but are there dedicated sites that they might go to and just find their information about certain topics? Are there conferences or events that they attend? So they can be obviously marketing conferences, or they can be gallery openings, polo, horse racing, whatever it might be. Then the next one is brands. What brands do they already know, like, and trust? What do they resonate with? Whether it's the type of car they drive, or it's the type of clothes they wear. Because if we know that they resonate with these brands already, we can go and copy what some of those brands are doing into our marketing, so that when they find our business, it feels congruent to what they already know, like, and trust. And last one's just sort of memberships. They are the board of any charities or anything of that nature, or they are part of any sporting clubs and these things. Again, we're just trying to find as much information as that we can use, or as much bullets that we can fire in our marketing sort of thing. And the cool thing about a lot of these platforms is, like the websites and the magazines, they spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions, depending on the platform, on their market research, and they all sell advertising. So it's easy to go to them and ask for their sort of media kit, where they'll actually detail a lot of their market research in there, because they're trying to sell you an advertising space on those platforms that you can then just take and replicate and utilize in your own marketing. Okay, so then the last one is kind of the psychology of it all. So what are their fears, their frustrations, their needs, their wants and desires? Okay, so this can take a little bit of time to break down. And again, you're trying to get inside the mind of your customer here, and it's not what they've told you. We're trying to get into that next level, you know, the deep dark secrets, I guess, that the conversation they're having inside their head that they're not necessarily telling you about or others about. So their fears, you know, what is their big fear? The big fear that keeps them up at night that your product or service solves. You know, what are the frustrations they have around your product or service? You know, what are the needs? Like, what do they absolutely need in order to do business with you? What do they really want? You know, nobody really buys anything on a sort of, I guess, a needs basis. It's really about the want. What do they want to get out of it? You know, the needs element of this is more about what do they need to facilitate it, and then the want is what they're really thinking about, and then the desires are, what's the big emotion attached to it? What's the big emotions that sort of they get when they use your product or service? Or what's the feeling they get after the sale's made? Because all marketing really is trying to take someone from where they are now to where they want to be. And if you understand the, I guess, the bridge or the psychological gap in between there, then it helps you to really sit down and craft a marketing message. And so what we like to do is, once we create these avatars, we like to give them a name. So, you know, it might be Motivated Mary, Stressed Out Stan. So try and give them a name and then a word that kind of encapsulates what that person's about. The reason for this is, when you sit down to write any kind of marketing material, it's really good to be able to sit there and go, okay, who am I writing this for? Okay, great. I'm writing it for Motivated Mary. I know how she thinks and acts, so this is how I'm going to do it today. And it just helps you sort of alleviate a lot of that double guessing and sort of that sort of uncertainty when it comes to creating your marketing campaign. So there you go. Hope you like this video. So honestly, sit down and start creating your avatars. This is not something that happens overnight. It'll probably take a month for you to get your first avatar dialed in. But I can tell you now, there's nothing more rewarding than seeing your avatar actually walk into your business and purchase your products or services. And I think this is the only real test for whether or not your marketing is working effectively, whether you can get the type of customer you want to walk in your front door. And so I hope you've enjoyed this video. In the next video, we're going to talk about the market, because effectively what your market is, it's your customers plus your competition, that equals your market. And so in the next video, we're going to talk about your competition, what you need to do to, I guess, effectively understand it and to beat your competition so that you can win more of your avatars. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.